Alright, so welcome back to Dale of Merchants 3. So for this video, we're going to be talking about the superstitious snowshoe hares. So let's take a look at these guys and see how they work. Now these are actually fairly fun to play with and fairly easy to understand as well. I was impressed. I was thinking these guys would probably be the hardest to play with, but they're actually not so hard after all. So let's explain how these guys work. So first of all, the merchant themselves, the arcane scholar. So he has a technique here, and it's got a plus action on it as well. So with this one, you're going to draw a card from your deck, and then you're going to place it into your hand. Then roll this dice, okay? So after you draw a card from your deck and place it into your hand, you're going to roll this dice, okay? And then you're going to discard two cards from, if it's this meteor symbol here, if you roll this meteor symbol, you're going to discard two cards from your hand, okay? That's what's going to happen. You're going to discard two cards from your hand. So you get to draw a card from your deck, and then you're discarding two cards from your hand with this one. So that may not be the best card in the world if you end up rolling this one, obviously. But if you roll the one with the star symbol, so if you roll this symbol here, and it's on two sides, if you roll this one, you're going to discard two cards from your deck, which isn't as bad, obviously. But if you're lucky enough to roll the planet, you're going to discard two cards from nowhere at all, meaning you're not going to discard two cards at all. So there's a chance that you could roll this and be safe and sound. And of course, there's also a chance you could roll this one too, because this also has the planet symbol with the arrows on it. That also indicates this one too. So that one works. So you got two chances of it being really very useful indeed. Still, it comes down to the luck of the roll, for sure. Or the randomness of the roll. So that's a really cool card. I like that one a lot. That's a really cool card. And it's fun to play with, I think. We'll have a lot of fun playing with it. Now, you have to know that there's only three cards in this entire set that actually, three different cards that will actually use this dice. So it's not going to happen very often. It's not going to happen very often at all. As often as I would like to, anyway. Okay, so this is a passive ability, Barometer Barometer here. You may throw away one card from the market deck once in your turn. If you do so, this card's value is equal to that card's value for this turn. Well, that's really interesting. So you throw away a card from the market deck once in your turn, because this is a passive ability. And if you do so, this card's value is equal to that card's value for this turn. So you can make that very useful to you in a lot of different ways. If it's a high number, then it becomes the high number too. So maybe you need it for a set in your stall, and maybe you need it for the fifth set in your stall or something like that, and you want to utilize this in that way. Or maybe you want to utilize the high number in order to purchase a card from the market. So there's a lot of ways you can definitely use the Barometer to your advantage. Probably not my favorite card in the set, but definitely pretty cool nonetheless. Then we have here, probably the best one, I think, Bad Omen, okay? This is another technique with an plus action on it. You'll draw three cards from your deck. You may throw away one of them and then place the rest back in any order. So you get to put them back in any order regardless of the case. But if one of them you don't want is like a junk card, for instance, you get to throw it away. And then that's really cool. I like that. Bad Omen is definitely an interesting card. I like that one a lot. Okay, then we have Festival. And it has a plus action on it. You're going to roll the dice with this one. Woohoo! I like rolling the dice with this one. Okay, you're going to draw a card depending on what you roll. If you roll the meteor symbol thing here, if you roll this, you're going to draw a card from the market deck. Well, that's cool, right? If you roll the planet symbol here, you get to draw a card from your deck, which is still pretty useful. But here's where it's interesting. If you roll with the planet symbol that has the arrows around it as well, if you roll this, the rule with this dice here, when you're playing with these merchants, with their items, and playing with these kinds of cards, if you get this, you can actually re-roll the dice for a possibility of a better chance. But remember, it's still a gamble, because if you roll with the stars on it, so if you roll with this symbol, you're going to draw a card from nowhere at all. So if you play this card and you draw a card, it's a possibility that nothing will happen at all because you're drawing a card from nowhere. So if you decide you want to draw a card from the market deck instead of your deck because you were lucky enough to get this, then you're still going to have to rely on the roll of the dice, and it's still a possibility that it could be a bad decision on your part, for sure. But then place it into your hand. So that's really cool. So it's a possibility that you could get a card from the market deck or your deck and place it into your hand with the luck, with the randomness of rolling the dice. So that's how Festival works. And that's kind of how it is in real games, right? It's really more of a risk when you play a game. There's no guarantee you're going to knock over all 3 jars, right? So that's really cool. In fact, your chances with this dice are probably better than any carnival game out there. Okay, so here we have Celestial Guidance. It's another action with the technique for the plus action on it. And this is the last one that uses this dice here. You're going to roll the dice. Then you're going to search a card from, if it's the meteor symbol again, if it's, where is it? This one. If it's this one that you roll, you're going to search your card from nowhere at all. So if you play this card and you get this, then nothing happens at all. So make a mental note of that, okay? Now, if you roll the planet symbol, you get to search a card from your deck. That's awesome, right? And then don't forget, because you rolled the planet symbol, you'll have to shuffle your deck afterwards, okay? But if you roll the one with the stars on it, so if this is the one you rolled, you get to search a card from your discard pile and place it into your hand. So if it's this, you get to search your discard pile for a card to put into your hand. If it's the planet, you get to search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. And obviously, if it's this one, you get to search a card from nowhere at all. So that's how that's going to work. That's an interesting one too, obviously. And then the last one for this set, Calendar. This is a passive ability. You may shuffle the top card from your discard pile into your deck once per turn. So you may shuffle the top card from your discard pile into your deck once per turn. Well, that's kind of an interesting ability. You might have a good card sitting in your discard pile. You get to, you may shuffle the top card from your discard pile, put it into your deck. There might be a really good card sitting on top of your discard pile, and you might want to do this once in a while for sure. If it's a good card, you might want to shuffle it into your deck to make it available to yourself much sooner, obviously. So that's how Calendar is going to work. And that's probably not the best one, obviously, in the set, for sure. But that is how these guys work. The superstitious snowshoe hares. Obviously, this was another really good set. So far, 4 out of 4 of the sets are really awesome. So we only have 2 more sets left. So let's take a look at the next one in the next video.